Angel Reese, she's all in Indiana during All-Star, and her Reebok campaign, come to your trap, take over your trap.
Angel Reese, the rising star of the WNBA, just made headlines for all the wrong reasons, and the internet can't stop talking about it. During what was supposed to be a game-changing moment, Reese pulled off a flop so exaggerated, so painfully obvious, that even her own fans were left speechless. Instantly, social media exploded with memes, outrage, and brutal reactions. Was it a desperate attempt to draw a foul, or a moment she'll regret forever? One thing's certain, this could go down as the most embarrassing flop in WNBA history. Angel Reese's meltdown, from rising star to walking disaster? Angel Reese was just one slip-up away from making WNBA history, but for all the wrong reasons. Imagine being so close to a triple-double, but instead of points, rebounds, and assists, it's turnovers that fill up the stat sheet. 9 of them. Yes, 9. That's not just a cold night on the court. That's a meltdown so epic it deserves its blooper reel. It was less of a basketball game and more of a giveaway session, where Angel practically passed the ball to defenders like she was handing out free samples at a shopping mall. Need a possession? Reese had you covered. Want a fast break on the house? Just be in the general vicinity. She wasn't playing like an elite athlete. She was operating like the opposition's secret weapon. Every pass looked like a setup for disaster, and every possession ended like a magic trick. Now you see the ball, now it's going the other way. Some fans called it tragic, others called it comedy. Either way, no one could look away, and this isn't some sudden collapse. We've seen flashes of this chaos before. Take last season, for example. 2 minutes left on the clock against the Fever. Angel needed 6 points and 3 rebounds to hit a personal mark. What followed wasn't a push. It was a panic. She grabbed 2 rebounds, then aggressively charged her teammate Victoria Saxton 3 times in one possession, like she mistook her for an opponent. It was awkward, it was confusing, and worst of all, it was telling. By now, fans are starting to suspect that even the coaching staff has thrown in the towel on trying to rein her in. Because let's be honest, this isn't basketball anymore. It's performance art. Angel Reese has become the star of a live-action parody about how not to run an offense. The paint turns into pure gridlock the moment she steps in, like someone dropped a roadblock in the middle of a highway. You can almost hear the court itself crying out, "Enough!" And don't even mention the pick and roll, because the only thing rolling is the ball, straight into the other team's hands. Angel's presence in the lane is so stationary, she might as well pitch a tent and set up camp. She's not cutting. She's not driving. She's just there, like an inconvenient piece of furniture no one knows how to move. Then there was the flop. Oh, the flop. Reese chased down her opponent during a box out, got way too close, grabbed her by the hips, and hip-tossed her straight to the ground. It wasn't physicality. It was pure WWE, but it didn't end there. Angel then walked over, got in her face, screamed, and hit her with a double middle finger salute. That's not just crossing the line. That's jumping over it, torching the bridge behind her, and moonwalking into a fine and possible suspension. And yet, amid all this chaos, someone still tried to spin her role into something palatable. They labeled her a facilitator. Sounds nice, right? Like she's setting up her teammates and reading the floor. But let's be real. Facilitator is just code for please stop shooting. They want her to pass the ball and stay out of the way. Because when she's not throwing wild passes, she's throwing bricks. When she's not bricking, she's flailing like she's caught in a windstorm. And when she's not flailing, she's zoning out, mentally checking out of the play and drifting miles away from the basket. Then came the confrontation with Diamond Miller. After yet another questionable whistle went in her favor, Reese jumped up like a rocket and made a beeline for Miller, her former Maryland teammate. 1 tech away from a suspension, and still, she's nose-to-nose with anyone who so much as bumps her. And sure, there's nothing wrong with playing with emotion. But there's a thin line between fire and foolishness, and Angel's been dancing across it in broad daylight. The real concern now? This isn't about a few off nights. This feels like a crisis unfolding in slow motion. Angel Reese has gone from a highly touted rookie to a walking question mark. Not just struggling, not just inconsistent, but so completely off track that people are wondering, why is she still starting? There are literal statues with quicker footwork and better decision-making. And still, she's out there, clogging up the offense like chewed gum jammed in a vending machine. But no one dares bench her, because doing that would tear away the illusion. It would admit that all the headlines, hype, and highlight clips were just that, hype. So they leave her there, waving her arms around at the top of the key like she's directing traffic at a broken stoplight. And then the rest of the team? Their reaction is their silent support, or are they secretly fed up and waiting for the storm to pass? Keep watching, because what happens next may just blow everything wide open. When teammates lose trust, the Angel, Reese meltdown unfolds. The moment the play began, chaos followed like a storm cloud. While her teammates scattered across the court in a desperate scramble to fix the unraveling situation, one thing became painfully obvious. This wasn't some strategic play being set up. No, this was a blooper reel in real time, a comedy of errors that ended with the ball slipping out of her hands, often finding its way directly into the arms of the opposing team. There was a point when fans genuinely believed Angel Reese was starting to turn the tide. After a rocky start, hope was cautiously rekindled. Maybe she was finally stepping up, inching her way from being a pretend baller to someone who could play professional basketball. A brief moment where it seemed like Angel was about to silence critics and pull through in the clutch, giving her team and the league a much-needed boost, especially with a victory over the Minnesota Lynx, which would have been her moment to shine. But nope, just when it looked like she was ready to climb the WNBA ranks, it all came crashing down. While a win might have made her the league's most talked-about player for all the right reasons, Angel Reese once again became the poster child for why the hype often doesn't match reality. And let's be honest, when Caitlin Clark exists in the same league, rising to the top of the popularity contest just isn't in the cards for Angel. But the real issue cuts much deeper than a missed shot or a bad pass. It's the way her teammates move around her, cautiously, as if navigating a minefield. Their hesitation is unmistakable. They stop short of cutting toward her. They avoid eye contact when the ball's in her hands. They play like they're dodging grenades, not running a fast-paced, coordinated offense. Every dribble she takes feels like a gamble. Every attempted screen ends in confusion. Every pass might turn into a turnover. And instead of orchestrating plays, Angel Reese has started orchestrating disasters. You can practically feel her teammates bracing for impact the second she touches the ball. It's heartbreaking. The girl who was once hailed for her leadership, her grit, her championship mindset, now finds herself being labeled the liability that no one wants to build around. She's not anchoring the team, she's weighing it down. And when you're surrounded by players looking for direction, that's the last kind of energy you want on the floor. We're being told her 9 turnovers are just part of learning the pro game. But this isn't learning. This is confusion. It's not development. It's a full-blown basketball identity crisis. And what's worse, she doesn't seem to know where she fits. Standing awkwardly in the dunker spot while her teammate gets double-teamed, she blocks more opportunities than she creates. She's not spacing the floor. She's clogging it. And her only consistent setup lately has been smooth, fast break chances for the other team. It's almost like Angel isn't a player anymore. She's become the twist in a badly written script. Not the inspiring kind where the underdog rises, but the kind that makes you shake your head and wonder who approved this plot. And then came the boiling point. Anka Agam gets boxed out with ease, then loses her cool and yanks her opponent to the floor like it's a wrestling match, not basketball. Standing over her like a villain in a cartoon, Anka screams and throws double middle fingers for good measure. Meanwhile, a Dallas Wings teammate rushes in, not to console, but to protect. She pushes Anka away, doing what a real teammate should, but the damage is done. When the other team starts hoping Angel Reese gets the ball, that's a red flag the size of the WNBA logo. They're not guarding her, they're daring her, practically inviting her to run the offense, because they already know how that story ends. It's not defense, it's mockery. And you can almost see the opposing coach grinning like a villain from the sidelines, whispering to his team, "Let her cook," fully aware she's about to burn the playbook down. And don't even mention her effort on transition defense. Watching her chase the play after losing possession is like watching someone try to win a sprint in flip-flops. Her feet are moving, sure, but her heart isn't in it. She looks annoyed, not determined. It's all movement, no momentum. Frustration painted across her face, but no fight behind it. And just when it couldn't get any more chaotic, the coach staff statement on the flop. But was it just damage control? Or are they quietly preparing to bench their rising star? Stay glued to your screen. How coaches are hiding Angel Reese's collapse. Let's talk about what everyone's pretending not to see. Angel Reese isn't just having off nights. She's turning every court appearance into a drama-filled episode of basketball theater. And behind the curtain, a coaching staff that's either in deep denial or quietly waving the white flag. Because at this point, there's no way they're still unaware. You don't watch that many offensive collapses and still think, let's build around that. That's not a strategy. That's blind hope wrapped in a jersey with a logo too scared to tell the truth. They call it player development, but what it looks like is a cover-up. A giant smokescreen to protect the brand while ignoring the glaring numbers on the box score. Every press conference sounds the same. Polished praise, vague optimism, and just enough buzzwords to dodge accountability. And the highlight reels, chopped and edited like Hollywood trailers, dramatic music, slow-motion shots, but right before the turnover, cut to commercial. Let's be honest. If the Chicago Bravado had pulled off a win that night, Angel Reese's popularity would have exploded. We're talking billboard status. No, maybe she wouldn't have overtaken Caitlin Clark in fame, but Angel herself. She'd be everywhere. Instead, we got a complete implosion, and this time, not even the flashiest camera angles could hide it. Even Cheryl Reed, coach of the Minnesota Linkers, saw the writing on the wall. Before tip-off, she joked with two streamers, the so-called stud buds, that if they lost to the Bravado, their Twitch privileges would be revoked. Think about that. Even opposing coaches are laughing. This isn't competitive basketball. It's become a meme-generating machine. Meanwhile, the rest of Reese's teammates are out there putting in real work. Actual scorers. Players who understand spacing, timing, and movement. But they're riding the bench or barely touching the ball, all to keep one overhyped storyline afloat. Because this isn't about wins anymore. It's about damage control. The franchise would rather protect the name on the back of the jersey than the final score on the screen. And the saddest part? Angel didn't ask for any of this. The media built her up like a fairy tale heroine, but now the fantasy is crashing down, and fast. Her real stat line: hype, denial, delusion. Watch any game with clear eyes and a working brain, and the truth is hard to miss. It's not dominance, it's a disarray. Shot after shot misses the mark. She racks up double-doubles, sure, but how many of those rebounds are just her cleaning up her bricks? We need a new category: self-rebound hustle. Because when you keep missing, of course, the ball ends up back in your hands. That's not elite play. That's rebounding your mess like a janitor in sneakers. And don't get us started on how the team keeps feeding her the ball like she's Shaq in his prime, only to watch her toss up wild, off-balance shots that barely touch the rim. And when the ball does leave her hands, it's like a gamble, except the house always wins. Her passes land in triple coverage more often than not. You can almost hear the defenders whisper, "Thanks, Angel," before heading off on another fast break. And it doesn't stop there. 7 technical fouls. That's not a coincidence. That's a problem. If this were last season, she'd already be suspended. And what's wild is her fans still argue none of those techs are deserved. All of them are. Every single one. From trash talk to outbursts to the moment she slapped a clipboard out of her own coach's hands after a foul. That's not fire. That's flat-out disrespect. And yet, it continues. The hype machine spins, the minutes keep coming. And the locker room? It's getting colder by the second. Fans are now speaking out about their frustration. Is this just backlash? Or are they finally seeing through the illusion that's been carefully protected all season long? Don't go anywhere, because what they're saying next might shock you. Fans turn on Angel Reese's WNBA performance. She's everywhere. Angel Reese isn't just popping up on highlight reels anymore. She's dominating timelines. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, her name is all over the place. But what exactly is she being praised for? Because if we're keeping it real, the media hype doesn't match the on-court reality. The WNBA is promoting her like she's the new face of the league. But whose face are we talking about? Based on her performances, she looks more like a caution sign than a superstar. Want to study the basics of basketball? Skip her tapes? Trying to learn how to run a proper pick and roll or rotate on defense? You won't find that in her highlight reel. What you will see is chaos, sloppy plays, a jump pass that sails into the stands, a missed layup followed by an over-the-top celebration like she just hit a buzzer beater. Angel's game feels less like basketball and more like experimental theater, unpredictable, loud, and often confusing. Watch her in the paint, and you'll wonder if she's been told the game is in slow motion. She'll freeze for several seconds, line up a shot like she's launching a boulder, then toss up an off-balance attempt that either clanks off the rim or misses everything entirely. Her teammates, knowing what's coming, scatter like she's holding a live grenade. They don't crowd the post when she has the ball, they clear out like it's on fire. And yet, somehow, despite all this, she still gets the spotlight. Her stat lines can look good at a glance. 14 points and 12 rebounds, for example, but they rarely tell the whole story. Because while she's padding the box score, the ball movement breaks down, the offense sputters, and the team often ends up on the wrong side of a double-digit loss. Sure, she gets 30-plus minutes and a green light to shoot, but when your game resembles a blender full of bad decisions, stats lose their meaning. What's worse is the swagger. Confidence is great when you're backing it up, but pumping your chest after a routine layup while your team is down by 20, that's not confidence, it's denial. Trash talking after making a free throw while the scoreboard flashes a blowout, that's not fire, it's fog. It's like throwing a party on a sinking ship. The vibe doesn't match the reality. Critics have noticed. Some fans are asking out loud what others are thinking quietly. How is she even a professional athlete? There's no shame in struggling. But when struggle meets arrogance, people start tuning out. The defenders of her game say she brings energy and presence. Sure, but so does a traffic cone. What matters is impact, and hers is often negative. And then there's the comparison to Caitlin Clark. It's not about race, it's about basketball. Clark brings elite range, accuracy, and playmaking. Reese, meanwhile, offers flash, but rarely finishes. Swagger without substance. The truth is, her game looks like it was learned from TikTok clips. Flashy moves, no foundation. And when commentators keep making excuses, it just adds fuel to the fire. You can only hide behind the hype for so long. Eventually, fans start paying attention to what happens on the court. They see the turnovers, the missed reads, the lazy closeouts. They see a player who plays like she's in her world. And while she may still be getting media love, her teammates are the ones adapting to the chaos, scrambling to cover for her mistakes while she poses for the cameras. At some point, the hype train runs out of steam. You can't keep celebrating hollow performances forever. Behind every double-double is a trail of broken plays, teammates out of sync, and a scoreboard that tells the real story. And now the energy shift is impossible to ignore. Angel is not giving much attention to WNBA anymore. But is this retreat strategic, or the start of an even bigger exit from the spotlight? Stay tuned. The growing backlash against Angel Reese's off-court focus. Angel Reese may be physically present in the WNBA, but is her mind and passion somewhere else entirely? That's the question surfacing as more people begin to scrutinize her choices, both on and off the court. While some stars in the league are grinding hard in the gym, working on their weaknesses, Angel seems to be working harder on something else, her brand. It's no secret she's been busy, but not necessarily with basketball. From glossy magazine covers to daily social media promotions, Reese's attention appears split. She's making waves with flashy photo shoots, stylish fashion appearances, and paid endorsements. All of this helps grow her public image, but at what cost to her game? Critics are now beginning to say the quiet part out loud. Angel may be more invested in being famous than being a great basketball player. And this isn't just about juggling fame and performance. Many athletes do that successfully. The difference here is that Reese's game hasn't exactly lived up to the hype. Her performance has stalled, and some observers believe the distractions might be part of the reason why. Despite putting up double-doubles, her stats often come in blowout losses. So, are they really worth celebrating? Even more unsettling is the idea that Reese might already know this. One commentator claimed that Angel is self-aware, not in a flattering sense, but in a way that suggests she realizes she might not be elite on the court. That might explain why she's shifting energy toward modeling and branding, because it's safer, more controllable, and more rewarding than fixing the cracks in her game. To many, it now seems like basketball is just a stepping stone, not her true priority. That recent promotional shoot, sure, it racked up likes, but it also raised eyebrows. Why spend so much time in front of cameras when your team is struggling and your game isn't improving? There's also a growing concern that her lack of effort on the court mirrors this mindset. She's been called out for avoiding responsibility during games, passing instead of pushing, stepping back when her team needs her to step up. Her critics say this isn't just a temporary slump, it's a pattern, and it's starting to look like her off-court life is more than just a side hustle. It might be her main hustle. What makes this more frustrating for fans is that Reese has the tools to be great. She's strong, she's got presence, and she knows how to attract attention. But if she's more interested in being a social media star than a basketball legend, she might be wasting that potential. Even her teammates and coaching staff seem to be walking on eggshells, unwilling to speak out while the criticism mounts. So now the question isn't just whether Angel Reese is underperforming, it's whether she's truly interested in performing at all. And if the answer is no, then the spotlight she's chasing might just shine on a career that could have been so much more. Angel Reese just made headlines for all the wrong reasons, again. But after this epic flop, the question isn't whether she can bounce back, it's whether fans will even let her. Drop your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe.